And probably can you give me the map of Africa so we can show that where Yemen is? Yemen is not in Africa, but yeah, in the southern tip of the Arabic Peninsula, right? So that's why they called it this one. They call Al-Qaeda Saudi Peninsula. Okay. I'm sorry. Not ASAP. Okay. AQAP. Al-Qaeda, right? The terrorist group in Arabic Peninsula. Okay. So that's a new beginning. Okay, I believe I have sent you this review sheet over the weekend, and so I'm going to try to make sure you know all this. I look at my final. I found out I give you 120 points. Okay, so which means if you got 0 last time and you get 120, you balance out, you still get 60, you pass. Right? So there is a possibility, you didn't show up for the midterm, and then you show up for the final, you pass. Okay? But obviously you're not going to pass because out of those percentage for class participation, you're not going to get 60%. So that will probably weigh you down. Okay. Still, let's take a look of some of this. Just try. 吴玉东. Yeah, CIA. Central Intelligence Agency. Okay? Don't give me something like association. Okay? Second one, 吕佩轩. 窦祖康, 窦旭康. GWOT. George Washington over there. No? Okay, what is it? GWOT. Oh, GWOT was Bush policy against Al-Qaeda. So G is what? Global. And WOT, war on Taiwan? No. Global war on Taiwan. Wow, on terrorists. Right? Okay, so remember that. And right now, Mr. Doe, Obama doesn't like to use the term terrorist. What substitute is he using? He does not want to call them terrorists all the time. So if you don't call them terrorists, what else do you call them? Bad guy. Okay. Evil. Just extremist. Okay, extremist. That's the new term. No, extremist. Okay. 郑君哲. 吴凯. Yeah, next one. IMF. I'm such a failure. Right? What is IMF? International M is what? Money. No, monetary. Money is, yeah, it's money, but monetary. Monetary means of money, right? Monetary fund. So, International Monetary Fund. Okay, since we are discussing, I'm not asking you this. What is ECFA right now? I didn't ask you on this one, so just trying to check. Xuanli. No? Hey, NTU students are debating now. Tsinghua student is also debating, right? Yeah. About ECFA right now. I think this happened in your university. How come? I mean, you're such Zainan, you don't even know something happened in your university? What is ECFA? I am going to get rich, right? ECFA? Right? That's ECFA. I'm going to get rich. But what is ECFA? Economic cooperation framework agreement. Okay, so that's ECFA, right? Okay. So it's important. Xuanli, okay, now give me this one, MAD. MAD. You are mad. You don't know ECFA. So what is MAD? When we talk about everybody having nuclear weapons, mutually assured destruction. It's like, if you get married, you have a AK-47 and your spouse has some kind of, sharp knife. So you can mutually assure destroying each other. So mutually assured destruction. If you know the other guy having enough weapon for retaliation, then you will not use the weapon. Okay, assured. ASSURED, all right? Mutually assured destruction. Okay. So next one, 何子怡. What is NAFTA? Okay, or free trade area now. Okay, agreement has been passed. Now it's an area. So, Mr. He, let me ask you, what is the position of Obama on NAFTA? Did he support or did he oppose? Well, he was very much opposing this idea. And he even said need to be reopened and renegotiate. But now, once he became president, he didn't do that. But as a candidate, he didn't like it. Okay, similar, to what we have in Taiwan is it will benefit, the country with lower costs of labor. So for Mexico, might benefit a lot. Okay, next one, NATO, Li Zichuan. Yeah, what is NATO? Treaty Organization. Okay, remember that one. We used to have another one in Asia, but gone. Okay, called CETO, Southeast Asian Treaty Organization. This one later has been replaced by ASEAN. Okay, 东协. So this one is gone since 1967. Next one, NPT, 林正豪. Non-proliferation treaty, right? Okay, 刘玉章, 庄子成, 有在吗? 郑立伟, 李雄豪. Yeah, next one. Salt. That's what you need when you cook, right? S-A-L-T, salt. What is salt? Strategic arms. Limitation, okay, to limit something. Strategic arms, limitation, What is T? Talks. Or later they actually sign, so become treaty. So either one will be fine. Okay. Strategic limitation, strategic arms limitation, talk or treaty. Start. 古文家. I think we discussed this in class. Very similar to SALT, but strategic. Okay, ST as strategic. Arms. R is what? Reduce, reduction, talk. Okay, so strategic arms reduction talk. You know, sometimes they just love to use acronym, which makes sense, right? Like there is a very famous organization in America called MAD. What is MAD? Double D. Anyone heard of this? Called Mother Against Drunk Driving. Okay. So there were a lot of mothers who were very worried about their teenager kids, right, driving. So especially having liquor, so Mother Against Drunk Driving. So they were mad, right? So Mother Against WMD. 范家展。杨代峰。Yeah, what is WMD? Women, men? No? What is WMD? Weapon of mass destruction, right? Can you give me an example of weapon of mass destruction? Right? Women is a weapon of mass destruction. Helen of Troy. 特洛伊的海伦。算吧。Because according to what was the poem says, is that the face that sunk 1,000 ship? 就看了海伦那张脸，就1000艘船被他害掉。Mass destruction. So weapons of mass destruction, nuclear weapons. What else? Chemical weapons, biological weapons. Okay, all these are nuclear weapons of mass destruction. Okay. 林敬琪。Containment. Yeah, but what kind of policy is containment? Against communism. Okay, I want you to know this. Containment first was proposed in a journal article in American very influential magazine called Foreign Affairs. Now, the guy who proposed this is who proposed this. If you go back to read the article, the author of the article is X. Okay, way back in 1948, when he talked about this containment, it was written by Mr. X. So who is Mr. X? Mr. Lin? You don't know. So we need to know who is behind this, right? The guy is called George Kennan. Very easy to remember. Why? Do we have a furniture store called Kennan? Do we have one? I know we have some kind of non-furniture store. No? Yeah. Scanning something. 萧楠啊？什么萧？木头，不去削。Okay. Anyway, so this is George Kennan. who was a State Department official, right? He proposed this policy, and now, this year, 2010, right? January issue of the Foreign Affairs also has an article saying Americans should abandon Taiwan. Wow. Saying, well, America should not sell arms to Taiwan because Taiwan is very close to China, and United States is doing fine without Taiwan becoming a problem between U.S. and China. So this article said Taiwan has become a new word, not a new word, an old word. So what do we mean by Finlandization? Lin Boyu. Yeah, why is America saying this? What is Finlandization? Okay, it means Finland, which was very close to Russia, Soviet Union before, decided to appease. Okay, decide to not to offend, not to challenge Soviet Union. So Finland joined international organization, but before that they would say, hey, my big brother in Kremlin, in Moscow, what do you think? Shall I join this? So kind of compromising on its foreign policy, and because you don't want to offend the Soviet Union. So the American scholar who wrote about Finlandization of Taiwan is saying Taiwan right now is having a closer relation with China, and if Taiwan wants to join international organization, China will say yes. You have to get China to say yes first, like WHA we have last year. And he said, as long as Taiwan maintains democracy and autonomy, independence now, I mean, not official independence, it's good for the American. So Americans should not sell arms to Taiwan, and Americans should use Taiwan as a force to democratize China. Okay? So that's the new article. So I mean, in Taiwan, over the weekend, especially the January 1st, if you look at the Pen Green newspaper, they worry so much about American abandoning Taiwan. So George Kennan, Foreign Affairs, containment. Okay, now we have that. Clash of civilization. We also discussed that before. Wu Zihe. Yeah, what is clash of civilization? People who use chopsticks just don't get along with people who use forks. What is this theory about? Clash of civilization. Before that, containment is against what? What is a containment against? Against pornography, right? 围堵色情. But containment is against what? To contain what? This is a very important, all the doctrine, all the presidential doctrine later is based on containment. So containment is a very important word. So what is containment? Again. Against what? Contain what? You want to 围堵, okay. 围堵什么? Terrorism. That's maybe right now, but I don't think we have a lot of terrorists when this article first came about in the late 40s. against what? Okay, so who disagreed with America right after World War II? Soviet Union. Okay, so containing Soviet Union, but also the ideology represented by Soviet Union. So what is their ideology? What kind of, you understand ideology? Ideology? Thinking. What kind of system of thinking is Soviet Union? Against Soviet, maybe imperialism, or what is it? Nazism? Soviet doesn't have Nazi. What does Soviet Union represent? If American is a capitalist country, Gongcan, okay, Gongcan, communist, okay, communism, right? So containment is against communism, but by the late 1980s, what happened? The Berlin Wall fell, right? The Soviet Union disintegrated, gone. So we don't have a war between capitalism against socialism or communism. Look at even China right now. It's not really a communist country. So the clash of civilization is a new thinking, saying the war is no longer between different ideologies, no longer between, the capitalist country versus communist country, East versus West, but what? Between civilization. So what civilization? We have problem. I'll give you the first one. Do we have problem between the people who use chopsticks and those who use forks? Culture, yeah, but what's the major one? When we talk about different culture, different civilization, clash, can we say today, okay, the culture, the clash is between the Chinese and the Japanese? Not, some difference, but not a major clash. What's the major clash? Islam and the West, okay? And the Christian religion, maybe. Well, of course, China is also a different one. That's what we call clash of civilization. China is not a socialist country anymore. So you cannot say it's between socialism and capitalism. If there is a clash, conflict between United States and China, it is clash of civilization, clash of culture. Like China would say, wait a second, we have a different view of human rights, right? Americans have a strong emphasis on human rights, but China say, no, it's not the same. We have a different standard. So it's a value, it's culture. So but who is the one? I think we mentioned that. Who is the one behind this theory of culture of civilization? Yeah, who is the guy that proposed this? You need to look up your... Oh, you wrote there. Okay. Samuel P. Huntington. Okay, have you heard of this guy who just passed away a few years ago? Samuel P. Huntington. He came to Taiwan a few years, about in the mid-1990s. And he is a very important scholar from Harvard University. Okay, he left two things I think very important. One is this clash of civilization. The other one is the third wave of democracy. I don't know whether you have heard of this, 第三波民主化. Okay, the third wave of democracy. So very important, and he was the one who offered this clash of civilization. Okay, 郑洁之. How about end of history? I think we discussed that in the class. What is end of history? It's when you, 郑洁之, disappearing from the scene, right? And the history ended. Okay. Okay, but well, I think you're moving to clash of civilization. End of history is like, in the past is what? It's competition, right? Always you have one ideology against the other, but the end of history is saying, hey, capitalism won. Everybody agree. You know, democracy, capitalism, that's the everybody wants. So history ends because there's no competition of ideas anymore. So who proposed this? It's a Japanese American. So give me a quasi Japanese American name. Japanese American always have a Anglo first name, but they cannot change their last name. Not like us, in Taiwan, when we go to U.S., sometimes we just anglicize our Chinese name, right? Like Lin, Mr. Lin, L-I-N, they changed to L-Y-N-N. That's a English name, right? Mr. Jing, they changed to K-I-N-G. That's an English name, Kin. So, but this is Japanese American. What's his name? Anyone? I gave you in the class, so nobody write it down, right? So I'm going to test you in the exam. Anyone knows? Try to help your classmate. What's his name? Okay, first of all, have you been to Japan, or do you know any city in Japan? Yeah, do you know some of the city in Japan, right? Okay, so what is Fugang? Fu?
I don't know how to the spelling of it.
Okay, what is Fugang? Fuku something. Okay, we also know all the Japanese, like Yamaha, right? What is Yamaha? Okay, so Yama is san. So here, Fukuyama. Fusan 啊，叫Fusan, Fukuyama. Okay, so that's his last name, Fukuyama. The end of history. But obviously, he's going to have a English name, so Francis Fukuyama. Okay, the end of history. America won. Huang Boyu. Imperial overstretch. What is imperial? You understand imperial? Do you understand imperial? 帝国. Overstretch. What is overstretch? Like you are going up for a rebound, playing basketball, and then you overstretch yourself. That's an overstretch, right? Oh, there is an overstretch there. Oh, and then got hurt. Okay, what is an overstretch? Or 过度延伸, right? Like you should not do something like split. Okay, your professor should not do anything like split. Okay, if I do, I think I hurt myself. 劈腿. Okay, 劈腿. So imperial overstretch. What does that mean? 帝国过度扩张. Okay, so this is a theory about all the rise and decline of the great empire, from Roman to British Empire. Okay, you remember British Empire? What was the other name? The sun never set on British Empire. 日不落国 means it's everywhere. So you have limited resources, but you are supporting your political ambition. When that ambition, when your resources are not enough to support that, then you have overstretch. Okay, so all those empires decline because they overstretch themselves. Like Roman Empire, like the Spanish Empire, like the British Empire. What do you think of American Empire now? Is it overstretched? It's in Iraq, it's in Afghanistan, now you have Yemen. That's why they say, oh, abandon Taiwan. Okay. We don't want to be overstretched, right? Have you ever played a game like 在地上抓那个一块一块东西的，要绕着玩？ That's overstretch, I think. 你会扭到，有没有人扭到？ I don't know how to do it. Okay. Now, in Chinese history, which empire overstretched itself? Mongol. Yeah, I think so. But Mongol kind of consolidated in China later. But what was the one that after an emperor who is very famous for all the expansion, and then after him, China declined? Which emperor in China is famous for its Western expansion? You know, Chinese emperor, that usually they have one name, and then they will have a revered name after they pass away. And that revered name is, you know, how people think about the emperor, right? So, like Han Wendi, oh, you know, good Wen, right? Or someone like, you know, people who Xiao Zhong, oh, must be a very filial son, right? Like Qing Chao, right? What else? Can we give some of the Qing dynasty? We just call Kangxi, but what 什么主? Kangxi 什么? 圣主. Okay, must be very, you know, good, holy, right? So that's how. But which emperor is good in military campaign? We'll call what? Wu, right? So which Wu in China? Huh? 三武之乱. No. What is Wu? Which emperor? Han Wudi, don't you think? Han Wudi, I mean, people love to read all his campaign in the West. Overstretch itself. Later we find what happened. 李陵是还是谁？降匈奴。哎，就是 overstretch yourself. Okay, so don't do that. America, you cannot cover every part of the world. Chinese history, I think Han Wudi is an example. Some people might say Tang Taizong overstretched. Okay, but Tang did not decline right after him. So must have sufficient resources to support that kind of campaign, right? So that's a very important one. But who is the guy behind this idea? 三真明有在吗？刘应成 Yeah, who is the person behind this? I think I mentioned in class, but nobody pay attention to all this kind of name. A Yale University historian. We have Harvard, Samuel Huntington from Harvard, so we need someone to balance it. So from Yale, right? A Yale history professor by the name of Paul Kennedy. this Paul is different from the spelling of Paul Gasol. Okay, Paul Gasol doesn't have an L, right? I don't know, why do you have that kind of name? P-A-U? What is that P-A-U? Pow. Huh? But is that a Spanish name? Without L? Is that how they use that? Paul Gasol. I'm sorry, Miss Liu, do you know who is Paul Gasol? You don't? Okay. But this is Paul. This author is Paul Kennedy. Okay. So Paul Kennedy of Yale University proposed the idea of imperial overstretch and warned against the United States not to stretch too far, because that will lead to the decline. Finally, we have another one idea. Ms. Liu, do you know soft power? Who is the author of soft power? What is soft power? Okay, diplomacy, but based on your, technology, education, or value, you can win. That's your soft power. So, who proposed this? In Taiwan, we have Annette Lu. Who is Annette Lu, Miss Liu? L-U, but with umlaut. 两点哒哒 U. 吕秀莲柔性权利有没有听过？柔性治国，柔性权利。No, but here, original. Who was the original author of soft power? Joseph. Nye. Okay. Of Harvard University. Okay. So Huntington is considered conservative. Joseph Nye is considered to be more liberal. Okay, so different approach to American foreign policy. So that's very important, and these are mentioned in the book as well. Presidential doctrine, I think you should know all this. Most of them have something to do with containment, but I want you to go over some of them in this book. Okay, you at least read that chapter on the world beyond our borders. You need to read that chapter. Most of my questions come from that chapter. Okay, so let's take a break here, and then we look at some of the doctrine. Okay, so anyone else who have not signed for your homework? Not homework. This is what? Report. Okay. If you're not, you have to put it. This is why you should not bring your cellular phone to a voting booth, right? In Taiwan, you have to, turn in your cellular phone before you go in to vote. In Africa, that's what we found out. When I observed people who vote, they brought their cellular phone, and then they, showed people who pay me money, like I voted for this candidate you want. So they take a picture, using the cellular phone. Okay, that's the reason you cannot bring cellular phone anymore. Otherwise, it's good. See, I took your money. This is how I vote. Show you. So people are, photographing. Okay, well, you still finish that. I'll just explain. Name of the state. I think there's only one true answer for that, right? Capital, state capital. Again, most of the states have the same capital throughout history. Okay? Alaska wanted to move, but never. Here, the state became part of the U.S. Okay, so you will the original 13 states, on the East Coast. Those you probably will have to say, in the 1789, 1787, 89. But the others, if you don't know, check on the American quarter. There is a new American quarter with all the states. Will show you which state they got independence. 你们有没有看过那种美国的2毛5的钱？每一州不一样。每一州不一样，每一州都有独立的。Okay, yeah. So that's the day they joined. No, they have. I collect. I think about 30 some states. Okay. So population. Just try to go to the American. Figure to find out. Governor. Okay. Governor can be elected twice, maybe, or unlimited. But you give me the first date got elected. Let's say 2004, and then re-elected 2008. Okay. So give me 2 dates. The first election and the last election. If there's only one election, just let me know. Okay? So then we will know this governor is on his first term or second term. The same with the senators and representatives. Also show me their party, okay? Also give me their party identification as well. Or, let me know all this party identification. Party means Democratic Party or Republican Party or independent. Very few independent, but still. Number of electoral college vote. Right now, I think we still have the old one because we don't have a new census yet. The next election, 2012, you will have a new electoral college vote. Okay, so we're still going to use the old one. Then the state voted for Republican or Democratic election since 1960. Wow. So 1960, D, 1964, R. Okay. And then name presidential candidate winning the state in 2004 and 2008. Okay. There are only 4 persons there. Right? George Bush and John Kerry in 2004. So don't write me Obama on 2004. Right? McCain and Obama in 2008. Okay, so don't give me any other name. It's either McCain or Obama. It's either Kerry or Bush in 2004. That's clear? Any question on this? Again, please, next time in the very beginning of the class, will you please print out the syllabus so you know what to expect? Okay. So that's the syllabus. And let's go back to this doctrine thing. Okay. Truman is very important for his doctrine because this is where we started with the containment. Okay. I think it maybe 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, we talked about the doctrine, and we said Truman is worrying about Greece and Turkey becoming communism. So what Truman was saying at the time is that the U.S. will try to send money, equipment, or military force to any country being threatened by communism, or they are fighting against communism. Okay, so Truman in 1948, 49 began this policy of containment. Okay, that's what we call Truman Doctrine. And Eisenhower, the next president, worried about the Middle East, right? So he was the one who say any kind of non-communist country, again, especially in the Middle East, they should receive aid and support from the United States, because he worried if they don't get the support, they will fall into the Soviet camp. Okay? So that's Eisenhower doctrine. Right? Kennedy doctrine is which area? That's Kennedy is. Okay, let's go back to Fan Jiazai. Yeah, Kennedy doctrine. Kennedy also containing communism, but where? Right before Kennedy became president in 1960, 61, which country has a revolution and become communist? Cuba, 1959. So Kennedy is saying, we need to fight communism or contain the spread of communism in Cuba, in Latin America, right? So supporting the try to support or try to contain communism, especially reverse its gain in Western Hemisphere, in Latin America. So that's Kennedy. And Johnson, in 1965, after he intervened in a country called Dominican Republic, right? He said, not only do we want to prevent the spread, but we also want to, try to, try to intervene, or any kind of communist revolution in Latin America is not acceptable. Okay, so especially if they try to establish a communist government. So that's a good way to intervene in Latin America. That's Johnson. Okay, so next one, Yang Daifeng, Nixon. I think we discussed Nixon, and does have relevance with Obama. What is Nixon doctrine? Do you remember? It's not about China. It's about the country that actually China fought a war and didn't win. No, southern part of China. Taiwan? No. Vietnam, right? Okay, so what is Vietnam here? What is his doctrine about Vietnam? Again, containment. But no, Nixon is strange. Nixon is a very anti-communist. But he is the one, not only about containment, but he is asking, what do we call, Vietnamization of Vietnam War. What does that mean? Vietnamization of Vietnam War. Taiwanization of Taiwan conflict. Means, hey, you cannot just ask all the G.I. Joe to sacrifice for you, right? You need to have all, you need to take your share. So Nixon is saying Vietnam War should not be fought by Americans. Should have Vietnamese themselves fighting the war as well. Okay? The same thing with Obama right now in Afghanistan, saying we're coming here and helping you to secure, but after that we will train you and you will be the major force to fight. Okay, so that's Nixon's doctrine. He's still going to fight, but Nixon is saying, the ally will also take care of their own military defense. Okay, so that's the most important part about Nixon's doctrine. Xie Yichen. Yeah, next one. Carter. How about Carter? Do you know Carter? Oh, some people are saying our president is like Carter now. Ma Ying-jeou is like Carter. So is it good for being a Carter or bad for being a Carter? First of all, Carter is a very good carpenter. You know, after he stepped down from president, he helped Habitat, you know, like building house for poor people. But as president, not very impressive. Okay, he said his foreign policy, I think he gave himself a B+. Domestic politics, he gave himself a C+. But what is Carter Doctrine? Again, in reaction in 1979 to Afghanistan. You know Afghanistan? Okay, if you don't know this, you should watch the movie by Tom Hanks called Charlie Wilson's War. How many of you have seen that movie? Only one. Okay. That is after. That is in 1980. But Soviet Union moved into Afghanistan in 1979. Again, I told you it's a very important thing for us, right? In Taiwan as well. So 1979, Afghanistan was taken by Soviet Union, or Soviet Union moving there. So Carter worried about Soviet expansion into Persian Gulf. Why Persian Gulf is so important for America? Oil, okay, but why very important in 79? (1979) is the second oil crisis. Okay, first oil crisis, what time? 73 to 74. Okay, they have an embargo against all the Western countries. So the second time around is 1979, and America has this energy problem. They need the cheap oil from Middle East and shipping from Persian Gulf. So Persian Gulf is very important. In my other class, I explained to my student, 1979. This is when Carter began to wear cardigan. Oh, some of you in my other class, do you remember my cardigan? 就是对开的老人毛衣。Okay, do we see? We don't. You see, all the young people don't wear the cardigan anymore. Do we have any cardigan here? No. 你们知道那种这边前排扣的毛衣 ？That's what we call 老人毛衣。Okay, 老人大概 cannot overstretch, right? So this is easy. And Carter, in order to save energy, said inside the home, put on a cardigan, because that's the oil crisis, and Persian Gulf really mattered. So Carter Doctrine said something like, the vital interest, like Persian Gulf, which is a vital interest for America, and that will be considered an insult to America as well. Okay, that's so will be replied, by a necessary means, including military force. So that's the Carter Doctrine. If you threaten my lifeline, 生命线, okay, then I will respond with military. Okay, that's Carter Doctrine. 卓杰. How about Reagan? We love Reagan in Taiwan. Reagan is very strange. He's a very good actor when he became president. When he was an actor, he was not a good actor. But he was so good, so natural when he became president. Very strange. So what is Reagan Doctrine? Reagan Doctrine is about supporting Latin America anti-communist guerrilla forces. Okay, again a containment. Okay, so Reagan used that against where? Against like Nicaragua, when Nicaragua became communist. So this is where Reagan concentrate again on Latin America. Next one, Clinton. So 潘一鸣. Yeah. Do you know Clinton doctrine? Okay, Clinton, I think, when he became president, sorry, there's no communists to fight, right? The Cold War is over. So what kind of problem do we have after Cold War in the world? The rise of China, but you don't spell a Clinton doctrine focusing on China. That's China would not accept. So what's the problem in the 1990s after the collapse of communism? Kosovo, Darfur is 2000, okay, but other countries in Africa as well. We call failed states, collapse. So they became big problem like Somalia. So Clinton is saying, if we have those failed states, you need to go intervene early before they became a big problem for the United States. Like Haiti, all the other countries after the Cold War. You have some of those states which do have problem. So this is talking about, trying to maintain stability in areas by fighting instability in smaller states. So what's the Chinese word for this? 防微杜渐是吧？是这样写？有这样子写吗？ I think my foreign international students don't know what does this mean. 防微杜渐 I don't even know. What does that mean? 防防微杜渐 Oh. So I think in English, what do you call? You nick something when it is only budding instead of waiting for it become a flower. But that's not good. Yeah, become blossom. There's an English term. Nip it in the bud. B-U-D, right? So nip it in the bud. Okay. Okay. Because earlier the same thing Ronald Reagan once said: if you don't fight communism in Nicaragua, then you have to fight them in Rio Grande. Means they're going to moving further north to Mexico, to the Texas border. So if you don't fight communism on Taiwan Straits, you have to fight them in Hawaii. Okay, so that's what similar. Okay, final doctrine, very important one, the Bush doctrine, which I think we should know. So let's try. 李涵妮，在吗？谢君达，彭冠荣，艾尔强来。Bush doctrine. What is Bush? Okay, first, yeah, he tried to global war on terrorism, right? But he said, I'm not going to make a distinction between terrorists and those states that harbor, protect terrorists, provide safe haven for terrorists. They are all my targets. So that's why he can go to Iraq. That's what he said, okay? Afghanistan, right? Afghanistan itself didn't bomb the United States, but it harbored, it became a haven for terrorists. So that's one. And second one is what? As long as I feel that we are threatened, I can have preemptive strike against terrorists. Okay? Preemptive strikes. Okay, so that's very important of all this. And Wang Boquan, Chen Yiping, Lin Genyi. Okay, next one. Membership, axis of evil. Who are the countries? Which are the countries that make the list? 榜上有名. That's very important. North Korea. Okay. Iran. Iraq. Okay. So this is North Korea, Iran, and Iraq. Okay. So obviously, some countries say, "Hey, we have offended the United States a lot. Why we are being excluded?" Some people are not very happy. So, in 2005, Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice said, "Well, we will expand the list." So here, Wang Sun. Who are the countries on outposts of tyranny? 暴政前哨战. Burma. Okay, so Myanmar, Burma. What else? Belarus. Belarus. Okay. Belarus. Belarus has a special place in Taiwan, right? Everybody loves Belarus in Taiwan. Am I right? Do we know what is Belarus with Taiwan? What's the relationship? Nobody knows? Here we have a lady who took care of our former president, Jiang Jingguo. Jiang Jingguo's wife, originally from Belarus. So that's you have heard of Jiang Jingguo, right? 你们听过蒋经国吗？ Okay, so Belarus, okay, his wife is from 叫什么？蒋方良有听过吧？ Okay, that's from Belarus. So we have Belarus, we have what? Already said Burma, which is also called Myanmar. And then we have Cuba. Okay, of course, Cuba, will be upset being excluded. But we need more. Zimbabwe, okay. Iran, North Korea. Okay, so that's very important. I think these two countries are very happy. It's almost like you're on the chart. You remain on the chart. 在排行榜上继续蝉联, right? Okay. And 何兴家, 黄伟志. Okay, easy. G8 members, which is going to disappear, I think. But give me some countries belong to G8. America, Great Britain. Hey, don't give me British. Give me country. Okay, country is called Great Britain. And Japan. That's 3. So we need 5 more. France. Okay, don't write French. Okay, write France. Okay, so France, Great Britain, Japan, United States. What else? Germany. Don't give me German. Italy. Okay. Canada and Russia. Okay, so you know all the G8, right? One of the criteria for G8 is supposed to be democracy. Now, is Russia a democracy? No. But if Russia is not a democracy, that can be a G8. Why can't China be G8? China is not there because it's not. Is the China market economy enough to be in G8? Okay, there's still some problem. So that's G8, right? 6 party talks. Oh, very important now. Again, Pan Yan. 6-party talks because North Korea just made a New Year statement. North Korea said, "Oh, we want to return to the 6-party talk." They might want to return. What is 6-party talk? Six-party talk. 六方会谈. Okay, people thought, wow, maybe it's like a 6, Yeah, can you think? So think North Korea. Which country might be more interested in problem of North Korea? China. Okay, so we have China, 1. Oh, just wait. Miss Pan. Russia. Yeah, Russia is always interesting. Okay, so China, Russia. Just a second. Okay, finally I can grill Miss Pan a little bit because I have been questioned by Miss Pan when I was a freshman in Furen University. One of my teachers is called Miss Pan. She is very hard on me. So finally I can, reverse that. Okay, so I'm going to, some revenge. Okay, so we have China, Russia and China. Who else? Japan. Okay, so 3. Because Japan, there have been Japanese being kidnapped by North Korea, right? So Japan always care. Japan also worry about North Korea using bomb attacking Japan. So that's 3. We need 3 more. North Korea, 4. South Korea, 5. And then Taiwan? No. Yeah, the United States. Okay, so those 6. Because North Korea, I'm sorry, don't have a lot of neighbors. Right? Just China, Russia, South Korea, Japan. And next one should be us. Right? And I think we should go there. Because North Korea really is a good example for Taiwan to learn. How do you play power against power? North Korea gain a lot. In fact, I think we should send our diplomats to receive training in North Korea. So those are 6-party talks. Iron Triangle. Okay, wow. This one, Lin Yiming. Where? It's in the book. Okay, let's try. You don't even bring your book to my class, So where is that iron triangle? Somewhere. I cannot tell you the page, though, right? So this is about American military. Okay, they want to sell arms. So there are 3 group of people. Triangle means they all want to sell arms, like arms sales to Taiwan. Who want to sell arms to Taiwan? No, that's French. But in America, what group of people want to sell arms to Taiwan? Can you think? Congress. Not everybody, but those congressmen who have defense industry in their constituency, in their district, they would love to, right? Because what does that mean? If, for example, Boeing, where is Boeing? U.S., but I know U.S. Where? Which city? Anyone? Boeing is in the same city as Microsoft. Wow, that city must have great economy. Right? Boeing and Microsoft. Bill Gates. Where does Bill Gates live? One of the most livable city called Seattle. Sleepless in Seattle. Of course, if you work for Boeing or Microsoft, I don't think you get any sleep, right? So, people congressmen from Seattle, they love to have this contract selling arms because that means what? Make money. Also, hey, most important thing is we call jobs, right? Good paying job for your district. So that's one. Congressman with, defense industry. So that's one. But who else loves to sell arms to Taiwan? Democracy? Bureaucracy. But more specific, I think it's we call Defense Department. Defense Department, they love to see a stronger Taiwan against China, right? So Defense Department want to sell arms. Okay, that's second one. The third one is of course Boeing itself, all the defense contractor, right? So that's why we call Iron Triangle. Okay, Defense Department, the defense contractors, and then the congressmen. Okay, with important industry in their district. Okay. Okay, next one, nuclear club. I think we should know this one easy. 蔡义兴, 张顺杰. Yeah, what is nuclear club members? Come on. Which country have nuclear weapons? India? Iran? No, I mean, formally, everybody said, yes, people who openly confess, yes, I do. I have nuclear weapon. And being verified, yes. India, who else? Yeah, United States and France. Well, if you have France, you have Germany? No. I mean, they started 2 World War. So no Germany. Huh? China? United Kingdom or Great Britain and Russia? No, North Korea has not been verified. Okay, so nuclear club, originally only 5 members, all the Security Council, permanent members of the Security Council. Now we have India, right? Only 6. Okay, nuclear club. Yeah. Pakistan is not official. Israel, I mentioned, Israel might have it, but it has not come out of the closet. 还没有出柜. Okay? Israel will not admit, right? Okay. Some people say Israel does have the bomb, and the bomb is in the basement. Okay, so we don't know. Obama's foreign policy team. Oh, this is a good one for you to do. I think it's important for you. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to test you, but you should know who is American foreign policy team. First one, you should know who is the Secretary of State. Okay, you should know who is the Secretary of Defense. That's 2, right? The third person is what? National Security Council Advisor. 国安会, 国家安全顾问. Okay, National Security Advisor. Fourth one, Vice President. Okay, Vice President also shares some foreign policy. Fifth one is the Special Envoy to the Middle East. Okay, sixth one, Special Envoy to Afghanistan and Pakistan. Okay, so those are the 6 persons you want to find out. Okay, I'm not going to tell you now. Founders of the non-aligned movement are, I think here, in the book, it mentioned that. Okay, so go check. Oh, excuse me. Hello, 我等一下回你电话，我上课。So here we have the founders of the non-aligned movement mentioned in this book, and I think Obama mentioned because one of the founder originally from Indonesia. Okay, so in his chapter he mentioned that. G20, you should know who are the members because it's becoming a more important issue. Founders of the League of Nations, again, who are the founders? This one is easy. Let me try here. 吕义生. Yeah, who are the founders of the League of Nations? Obama discussed that as well. But who are they? The power, I mean, the big powers, like League of Nations right after which war? World War I, right? Okay, World War I, obviously you have to be on the victorious side. So which countries are on the victorious side? Great Britain, France. No, Russia was in the middle of a revolution. Oh, Soviet Union was in the Russian Revolution. So they U.S. But sorry, it's like American beef didn't pass the Senate. Okay, so United States, even though idea was proposed by Woodrow Wilson, the president of the United States, but he failed to convince his own Senate. The Senate refused to ratify the treaty. So America is not there. Great Britain, United States, and France, Great Britain, France, also Italy, okay, and then Japan. These are the four dominant forces there. Okay. Russia, of course, you cannot have Germany, you cannot have Austria, you cannot have Turkey. Okay, those are the, we call Central Powers. Okay, short answer, 7 sources of tension. Do you remember that speech? Okay, so maybe you should go back to look at that speech. Let's try. See whether you remember any. 赖世恩. Do you remember one? You know, what would be the conflict between United States and the Islamic world? The tension. Well, we have monogamy. You have polygamy, right? 是这样子吗？我们这里是一夫一妻制，你们是一夫多妻制。That's the source of tension. So in the speech, what did Obama mention? Source of conflict. Sources. 7 sources. The one that is always a big problem, America support one particular countries in Middle East, Israel, right? And Israel have problem with what? Palestine. So that's always one. And America also want to support democracy in the Middle East. We call regime change, which the Middle Eastern countries said, no. You know, democracy is something so foreign to us. We don't like it. Okay. And then what else? Religious freedom, women's rights, terrorists, right? Against terrorists. And then also economic development and also nuclear arms, nuclear weapons. So you have those 7. And finally, I think I give you this to do, so some of you can do it at home right now. One is to look at the book and also the Nobel Peace Prize speech to write what is Obama's doctrine. Okay? So you can write a good doctrine here. And the second one I give you is you have to write a comment on this page 347 of the book. Finally, you spend what, $200 some for that book? Get to read that, okay? So this is something you need to do. Okay, I think you should be able to do a good job here with this. Any other question? So if you fail, again, it's like America is relinquishing responsibility for Taiwan. I am not responsible for your failure. Okay, if you fail the class, Professor Yan cannot be blamed. Okay, I basically go over most of the questions with you. If you fail, maybe you missed the class today. So who knows? Okay. So see you next week.